Hey there guys, what's going on? Gale here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Genshin video, and today we're continuing on the discussions and breakdowns and analysis of everything that was announced in the Genshin Impact version Luna livestream, special program, whatever you want to call it. And today we're going to be talking about probably what I am most excited about when it comes to Genshin Impact. I love this story, I love the characters, I'm very much looking forward to Not Cry, but there was something special about seeing Miliastra Wonderland for the very first time and seeing it in its glory. This, in my opinion, is probably one of the most revolutionary things I've seen any gacha game do. Now, I wouldn't say it's a revolutionary thing in gaming. However, what they have done is what other big-time games have done before. You know, the likes of Fortnite, Roblox, so on and so forth. Minecraft to an extent as well, you could say. This is a start of a potential new era for Genshin Impact, and I want to talk about it. I want to give you guys my thoughts. I want to just talk about why I think this is so exciting and why I'm personally so excited for it, as long as they do one simple thing, and we'll talk about that later on in this video. Let me know your thoughts on Miliastra Wonderland in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited about it? Are you not? Why, if not, and why are you excited? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna play the trailer once again. It's a minute and a half long. It's not that long. I'll let it play through. I'll give my own, reactions once again to this thing, and then we'll go over it bit by bit, talk about the entire thing, and give you guys an idea on why I feel like this is super special and super exciting for me personally. Alright, let's click the play button. One thing I will say immediately is this already reminded me a little bit of Honkai Nexus Anima, which is quite funny because obviously I reacted to it literally right before the stream happened, right? And you could customize your main character in that, and now you can do the same here, which is super cool, to be honest. I'm very much looking forward to being able to customize our own character. Obviously, it's something that's super nice. Obviously, it's great playing as Lumine and Aether, but obviously being able to have your own character as well is gonna be fantastic. Obviously, this is basically like a football mini game effectively going on, right? Sort of like an obstacle course. Yep, very straightforward, very straightforward this is. League of Legends, Dota, basically MOBA style gameplay. Okay, this is a hero shooter basically we've got going on here, of course. Man, there's just so many games going on here, which is amazing to see. That's so good, man. I love it. I absolutely adore it. I just love the variety we saw there. And that's the most important thing for me personally that I'm most excited about, is the variety. I think it's just so good to see so much happening. So first and foremost, this item, by the way, some of you guys might remember, some of you guys might not. This was the item we received in 5.6 after the events of Paralogism from Alice, of course, right? This was the item. So this is something that they've clearly planned from before 5.6. This is something they probably planned for over a year ago. Surely this is something they would have taken their time with, because there's so much going on here and it's allowing people the opportunity to be as creative as possible, right? Because what Miliastra Wonderland is it's basically Genshin in a sandbox format, effectively. You are going to get access to all the assets, basically. You're going to be able to create your own maps, your own games, your own modes, basically, and share them with the people. You could make, for example, I could make a dungeon crawler, right? Somebody else could make a sort of like a raid battle, basically, where you go up against a big boss, and it's 4 of your teammates going together, basically, and facing it together, right? That is a possibility. You could have a boss rush sort of scenario as well, and this is just more on the combat side of things. You could, obviously, as you saw there was literally a football mini game going on as well. You have an obstacle course here. You literally had something from like Overcooked or something like right here. You literally, like, this is, you have the opportunity to create what you want, how you want, when you want, and I think that is absolutely fantastic in my personal opinion, because what this allows people to do, yes, maybe not everybody's creative, maybe people won't want to create their maps, but there will be some people out there who will create their maps. And remember, with how big Genshin is, there is going to be a community for this. I've mentioned it in my what I want to see from Genshin in the future, right? And I said, you have your creatives in the teapot, and while those creatives in the teapot are looking at it from a more comfy standpoint, and that's their thing, they may not like doing the creative side of things that they do in mihoyo Wonderland, which is creating game modes and game events and stuff like that. There will be another group of people like that, right? You've seen it in Fortnite, you've seen it in Roblox, you've seen it in Minecraft. People can create the craziest of things with the smallest of initiatives, and in my opinion, that is the most important thing that they could do, is giving people accessibility for this. This is something I've been saying for a very long time that we need in this game. Way back when the first time we had that mini game event where you could create levels for people, right, for other people to do, and you could go and get like the coins and stuff like that. That was basically the original idea, right, to allow us to create our stages for other people to experience. And I was really hoping that inevitably they'd allow us to add monsters to it and stuff like that, and make it a full-blown dungeon creating experience. We're getting that here, and in my opinion, that is so good. Maybe, like I said, maybe you don't create it, but I am 100% sure that 90% of players will probably at least try and play some of these game modes and will actually have fun, because the idea is there's going to be a game for everyone. And as long as they make it as open as possible, in terms of creativity and stuff like that, I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, just based on what we're seeing here, I mean, there's so much going on, like the variety we've seen here. Also, mind you, they've literally said it here, all the game stages that were shown off were test works by the creators. So obviously there's going to be still more work being done behind the scenes. They're going to try and make it as open as possible. There's no reason for them to make this restrictive, in any way, shape, or form. There's no craziness behind it. And in fact, what this will do is, by creating more and more game modes, making it more interesting for players, making it more open for players, giving people the option to play it, you're going to retain more players for Genshin, and by ergo allow them to play Genshin as well simultaneously, because it's kind of like Fortnite in a sense, where you have the creative modes and everything, but then you obviously have the actual game itself as well at its core. There might be people who are focused on the creative side, but they'll still be playing the main game as well, obviously to learn more about the tools, the assets and stuff like that. And it's going to be vice versa, right? The same thing is going to happen here, in my personal opinion. You'll have people who are obviously playing the base game for the base game, but you'll have people coming in because, there's obviously people, maybe their friends will be playing some game and they want to join them, and so on and so forth, and vice versa. Somebody's wanting to create a map, but they need to understand, like, oh, what would be the best bosses potentially, right? For example, if you're creating a dungeon crawler or something like that, what are the best bosses, what are the best enemies to have at certain points in the fight, so on and so forth. That is going to be super important. So for me personally, I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's so good. Another thing that I have to give a big shout out to the developers for, of course, in this situation is, if I go over to the stream again, let's go to the Genshin Impact version Luna special program. I want to actually go over a thing that they mentioned towards the end of the stream. I'm going to mute the stream. We don't need to listen to it. Again, we've already been there, done that kind of thing. Where is mihoyo Wonderland? Where is it? Over here. Perfect. Now, one thing that they said basically as well is that they have basically said, right, that they will be, of course, allowing people to be creative and everything, but they also are wanting to allow people to earn from mihoyo Wonderland as well. That, in my opinion, I think is fantastic. If they allow people to get earnings, and I mean proper earnings, I'm not talking about just primo gems, in my personal opinion. I hope it's not just primo gems. I hope it's much more than just that, to be honest. If they are able to do that, I think it's going to be fantastic. Like, look at this. Like, that's stuff we don't even see in the main game. So I think being able to create original content, being able to use the assets, and like, they've got everything there. There's tutorials for creators as well, forums. Yeah, they're really looking into this, and I think they're going to support this big time. They're definitely thinking that this is their next big thing, and I think that's completely fair to have that, I think it's fantastic. It's such a good idea. I know I'm being a bit this. But yeah, all new earning system for creators as well. Wow, it's just so good, man. I just think it's fantastic. I think it's a brilliant thing, in my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think, of course, and I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. But yeah, I just feel like this is so special in my personal opinion, because don't get me wrong, I think Genshin at its core is still a fantastic game. You know, what they do is brilliant, but this takes it to another level. I'm very impressed. This was probably the best thing that they announced during the stream itself for me personally. Like, I love all the free stuff that they're giving us, and story, not cry, and all that sort of stuff. But man, I don't know. I don't know. Something about this hit me hard. And I'm not somebody who plays like Roblox or Fortnite or anything of that sort. But this is a mode, I think, that will be just so... I know some people are already saying on YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that, that why is it in Genshin? Make it its own thing. And yes, you could make it its own thing, but the assets are in Genshin, so why not just put it in Genshin? It's the same as, exactly the same as Fortnite, for example. Why not? You know, the assets are already there. At most, you're probably going to add a couple of gigs to the game file. Probably, I would say maybe like 5 gigs, at most 6 gigs, to just add a couple of extra things. But the majority of the assets, like the buildings, the housing and whatnot, everything is there already. The effects are there already. So what's the need to add, you know, make it a separate game and add an extra separate like size of, you know, file to the thing? And why not just attach to also what is a big name IP and let it flourish there? I think it's a smart idea, to be honest, from a business standpoint at least, and from my perspective as well. I'd rather have it in this game than have it as a separate thing. You know, it'll just be a lot more accessible. People will want to do it way more. As I said, I love the customization already, by the way. Super cool seeing all the various ones. Basically, you've got an Alice one here. You've got a lady in just a pineapple outfit, which is brilliant. And then you have a cute Yaru right there, of course. No, I think it's fantastic. This looks like a Monopoly. Yeah, it's literally Monopoly. Yeah, it is Monopoly. Yeah, this is Monopoly. I didn't realize it initially, but that's Monopoly Overcooked, of course, here. Sorry, I'm just going through all the games again, but yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. For me personally, I think this is a brilliant idea. I think a lot of people will get into this mode inevitably. I feel, of course, it's going to take some time in getting going. I think it's going to be super important that they nail the launch. What I also feel like that they should nail, that I don't know if they mentioned in, I don't think they mentioned in the version development plan, but I'm praying and hoping is the case, is I'm really hoping that they I really hope that they do make it cross server. That is my only concern, is if they don't make it cross server. Because don't get me wrong, I think it's fine if it is region locked, at least it may be in the beta version, the first iteration. Sure, fine. But I do think, in my personal opinion, it should be cross server from like 4 or 5, version Luna 4 or 5. You can't make it any longer than that. For me personally, accessing other people's maps and stuff from other servers is super important, because that's the only way you're gonna have competition. Somebody is gonna want to make a better version of what you've already created, and so on and so forth. It shouldn't be just a case of people copy pasting it across the servers and that's it kind of thing, and everybody, you know, somebody steals an idea from somebody from another server and so on and so forth. Make it open. And also on top of that, you'll just have way more available as a player base as well, right? Somebody from Europe can play something from Asia, somebody from China can play something from America, and vice versa, and so on and so forth. So for me, I think that is the most important thing that they do. But outside of that, I am so excited for this. I cannot wait to play these game modes with friends and, you know, people on this channel, viewers as well. It'll be brilliant. I cannot wait, man. I cannot wait. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, evening, wherever it may be. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.